Planet of the Apes 1968 is one of the most shocking sci-fi films ever made. A story where humanity's worst fear isn't the unknown but itself. But the version you saw almost ended in a completely different way. Did you know that in the original script, Taylor was killed by a sniper and never reached the Statue of Liberty? Or that the man who built the ape faces later used those same skills to help the CIA rescue hostages from Iran? Today, we're uncovering 16 hidden truths about Planet of the Apes 1968, including shocking Easter eggs that reveal a secret connection to the Star Trek and Batman universes. Number 1. The ending that would have erased the most famous shot in cinema. In the drafts leading up to the final screenplay, Taylor never made it to the Statue of Liberty. He was shot and killed by an ape sniper's bullet while fleeing into the Forbidden Zone. Nova, pregnant with his child, escaped alone into the wasteland, vanishing with the unborn baby. That would have been the ending. No crumbling monument, no existential horror, just a conventional tragic death and a pregnant woman disappearing into the desert. But during the final rewriting stages, Rod Serling's Statue of Liberty concept was locked in as the definitive conclusion. One revision saved what became the most iconic final shot in movie history. Number 2. The spaceship that sounded like the Batmobile. When Taylor's spacecraft tears through the atmosphere and crashes into the lake, that roaring engine sound wasn't created for this film. Sound designers Herman Lewis and David Dockendorf were working with a tight budget, so they pulled effects straight from the 20th Century Fox sound library. The specific jet engine roar used for the crash sequence was the exact same sound effect used for the Batmobile in the Batman TV series, which had been airing on the same studio lot just 2 years earlier. So the vehicle that carried an astronaut to the end of civilization shares its voice with Adam West's car. Number 3. The man who works for the CIA. John Chambers, the makeup artist who designed every ape prosthetic in this film, had a secret parallel career that wouldn't be revealed for decades. Operating under the codename Jerome Calloway, Chambers began creating disguise kits for CIA agents in the early 1970s. Then, in 1980, CIA officer Tony Mendez recruited him for the most audacious rescue operation of the Cold War. 6 American diplomats were hiding in Tehran during the Iran hostage crisis, and Chambers helped build their escape. He set up a fake production company called Studio 6 and used his Hollywood credentials to make a fake sci-fi film called Argo. The diplomats walked out of Iran posing as a Canadian film crew. Chambers received the CIA's Intelligence Medal of Merit, the agency's highest civilian honor. The story stayed classified until 1997 and became the basis for Ben Affleck's Argo, which won Best Picture. John Goodman played Chambers. Number 4. Edward G. Robinson was secretly fired. For over 30 years, the official story was that legendary actor Edward G. Robinson left the production because the heavy ape makeup was too physically demanding for a man his age. It sounded reasonable, everyone accepted it. But the truth, revealed decades later by makeup designer John Chambers himself, was far less dignified. Robinson refused to shave off his beard, which made it impossible to apply the ape prosthetics properly. He even tried to commission an independent makeup artist to build a custom appliance around the beard. Chambers went to producer Arthur P. Jacobs and told him Robinson had to go. Jacobs had already been looking for a cheaper replacement and used the dispute as justification. Robinson was paid off and replaced by Maurice Evans. Both sides agreed to the health reasons cover story, and it held for 3 decades. Number 5. The improvised gag that embarrassed the director. During Taylor's hearing before the Ape Tribunal, the 3 orangutan judges briefly pose in the classic "see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil" arrangement. That moment was never in any draft of the screenplay. Director Franklin Schaffner improvised it during a rehearsal, almost as a throwaway. Heston suggested they actually film it, but both men expected it would be cut in editing. When it survived into the final film, they were reportedly embarrassed. Test audiences had found it amusing, and the studio kept it in because the film was getting too dark and needed a moment of levity. What started as an on-set joke became one of the most referenced images from the entire movie. Number 6. Rod Serling recycled his own Twilight Zone. Rod Serling didn't just write the screenplay, he essentially rebuilt it from pieces of his own Twilight Zone episodes. I Shot an Arrow into the Air from 1960 features astronauts crash landing in a desert, convinced they're on an alien planet, only to discover they never left Earth. That's the exact same twist as the Statue of Liberty ending. People Are Alike All Over, also from 1960, stars Roddy McDowall, who would later play Cornelius, as an astronaut captured by aliens and put on display as a caged exhibit that directly mirrors Taylor's imprisonment in the film. The Rip Van Winkle caper involves characters waking from suspended animation to find a dead companion, which mirrors the film's opening. These aren't vague thematic echoes. They share specific plot mechanics, character dynamics, and structural beats. The film is essentially Serling's ultimate Twilight Zone story, one too big for television. Number 7. Burt Lancaster said no for the 5th time. Burt Lancaster was offered the role of Taylor and turned it down. That alone isn't unusual. What's unusual is that this was the 5th time Charlton Heston inherited a role Lancaster refused. The previous 4 were The 10 Commandments, Ben-Hur, The Agony and the Ecstasy, and Khartoum. Other actors considered for Taylor included Marlon Brando, Steve McQueen, John Wayne, and Rock Hudson. Lancaster's repeated refusals essentially built Heston's career as Hollywood's go-to epic leading man. Number 8. Actors segregated themselves by species. During breaks in filming, something strange happened that nobody planned. Actors in ape makeup naturally and unconsciously grouped themselves by species. Gorillas sat with gorillas. Orangutans ate with orangutans. Chimps gathered with chimps. Nobody instructed them to do this. Nobody encouraged it. It just happened organically every single day. Cast members, including Roddy McDowall and Lou Wagner, who plays Lucius, later confirmed it. On a film about hierarchy and tribalism, the cast accidentally created a real-world social experiment that proved the movie's own thesis. Number 9. The novel's double twist that was too strange for film. Pierre Boulez's 1963 novel La Planète des Singes has a twist far more shocking than anything in the movie. The story uses a framing device that the film abandoned entirely. 2 astronauts discover a message in a bottle floating in space. Inside is a manuscript, the written account of a human traveler trapped on the ape planet. The hero of that account, named Ulysse, eventually escapes and returns to Earth, only to find that apes have taken over there too. But then the novel pulls back one final time to reveal its most shocking twist. The 2 astronauts reading the message are themselves chimpanzees, and they dismiss the entire account, refusing to believe humans were ever intelligent. The reader was inside the twist the whole time. This double twist was considered too difficult to translate to cinema. Tim Burton's 2001 remake actually came closer to Boulez's ending, and audiences hated it. Number 10. The man who made Spock's ears also made every ape. John Chambers didn't just revolutionize makeup with this film. 2 years earlier, he had created the pointed Vulcan ears worn by Leonard Nimoy as Spock on Star Trek: The Original Series. Both franchises, born within 2 years of each other, owe their most distinctive alien looks to the same artist. What made Chambers uniquely qualified was his background. Before Hollywood, he had spent years creating artificial facial features for disfigured World War II veterans, work that taught him how to make prosthetics look like living tissue rather than rubber. Number 11. Heston wrote the final speech on the day they shot it. Taylor's anguished breakdown at the Statue of Liberty, "You maniacs! You blew it up! God damn you all to hell!" was not in the shooting script. Charlton Heston wrote those words himself on the day they filmed the scene. The production had the ending location, the half-buried statue, the dramatic setup, but no dialogue for the moment of discovery. Heston filled the silence with a raw, furious outburst that became one of the most quoted lines in cinema. And Schaffner made another bold decision. No music. The scene plays against nothing but crashing waves, which makes the horror land harder than any orchestra could. Number 12. Dr. Zaius knew everything. Most viewers remember Dr. Zaius as the stubborn antagonist who refuses to accept the truth about Taylor. But watch the film again and something becomes clear. He's not denying the truth. He already knows it. When he tells Taylor, "Do not look for it," you may not like what you find, he's not guessing. He knows exactly what's in the Forbidden Zone. He knows what Taylor will discover, and he knows it won't matter because no one in ape society will believe a human. After Taylor rides away, Zaius immediately orders the archaeological cave destroyed and charges Zira and Cornelius with heresy. He's not an ignorant leader, he's a deliberate cover-up artist, protecting his civilization from a truth he considers too dangerous to survive. Number 13. The producer bought the rights before the book was even published. Producer Arthur P. Jacobs purchased the screen rights to Pierre Boulud's novel in 1963 before it had even been released to the public. Boulud himself thought the story was unfilmable and privately considered it one of his weakest works. Jacobs spent the next several years pitching the project to every major studio in Hollywood and was rejected repeatedly. What finally got Fox to say yes had nothing to do with the script's quality. The studio's other big-budget genre bet, Dr. Dolittle, was spiraling wildly over budget. Planet of the Apes suddenly looked like a cheaper, safer alternative. One studio's financial panic became another film's greenlight. Number 14. 80 makeup artists created a Hollywood-wide shortage. John Chambers needed roughly 80 makeup artists for the large crowd scenes. That was so many that several other productions at other studios were reportedly delayed because there simply weren't enough makeup professionals left in Hollywood. At the start of filming, each ape transformation took about 6 hours. But Chambers developed an assembly line training system that cut the process to roughly 3 hours by the end of production. Actors couldn't eat solid food while in prosthetics. They survived on milkshakes and soft foods consumed through straws. The studio publicly claimed the makeup budget was $1 million. Producer Mort Abrahams later admitted the real number was probably less than half that, but $1 million sounded more dramatic. Number 15. The film opened one day before everything changed. Planet of the Apes went into wide release on April 3, 1968. One day later, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. A film about racial hierarchy, oppression, and a society that maintains power through willful ignorance was suddenly playing in theaters across a nation convulsing with grief and rage. The film ran through the summer and autumn of 1968, one of the most turbulent periods in American history. Its themes about who gets to be called civilized and who gets caged were no longer science fiction allegory. They were the evening news. Number 16. The movie tells you the truth from the very beginning. Here's the secret hiding in plain sight. The film essentially tells you it's Earth from the opening act, but 1960s audiences never caught it. The planet has a breathable atmosphere identical to Earth's. It has Earth vegetation. The apes speak English, not alien English, actual English. There are horses. The archaeological dig turns up human dentures, a pacemaker, and a talking baby doll you could buy in any American toy shop. Taylor's own ship was programmed to return to Earth. Every clue is there. But in 1968, audiences accepted casual interstellar travel and human-looking aliens as standard sci-fi conventions without question. Soviet probes wouldn't reveal Mars and Venus as dead, lifeless worlds until the early 1970s, so the uniqueness of Earth's biosphere wasn't yet common knowledge. The twist worked not because the film hid the truth, but because audiences weren't yet trained to look for it. Planet of the Apes isn't really about apes. It's about us, about what happens when a civilization decides that some truths are too dangerous to know. So here's the question. If Dr. Zaius were alive today, what truth would he be burying? Drop your answer in the comments. If this video surprised you, hit like and subscribe because we've got more hidden truths coming from the films you thought you already knew.